Baseball is back at the dish as Texas just wrapped up their opening weekend series against Dartmouth with a 4-1 win over the Big Green. Ethan Mendoza, the Arizona State transfer, led the Longhorns in hitting today with 3 hits off of 4 at-bats with 2 RBIs and a home run. Meanwhile, Dylan Volantis excelled in the pitching game, coming in the top of the 5th inning to relieve starting pitcher Cade Bing. Looking for your 13th straight win in baseball is nothing short of impressive, especially if it's during your best start in 20 seasons. But for Texas, the road only gets tougher as now they get set to begin play in a new conference.
It's tough to grow and win.
In the very stadium where Texas fell to Georgia in overtime in the SEC Championship just under a month ago, the Longhorns today felt deja vu with ASU. 2 straight touchdown scoring drives by the Sun Devils, both with successful 2-point conversions, allowed Arizona State to tie the game at 24 late in the 4th quarter. I'm here outside of the Moody Center post-game after a 40-point win by Texas over Drexel, 82-42. Shaylee Gonzalez went 8 of 11 from the field, 5 of 6 beyond the 3-point line. She had 21 points, tying her season high. Meanwhile, Madison Booker had 14 assists, the most by a Texas player in an NCAA tournament game. An overall dominant performance by the Longhorns as they look to play the winner of the Alabama-Florida State game going on right now. The Masters came to a close last Sunday night. Former UT golfer Scotty Scheffler won the tournament and put on the green jacket for the 2nd time in his career. Scheffler finished the 4-day tournament at Augusta National Golf Club with a total score of 11 under par. He became the 4th youngest golfer to win the 2 Masters and joins Tiger Woods as the only 2 golfers to win the tournament while being ranked #1 in the entire world.
It's hard to put into words how special this is.
Well, Max, I definitely say it was their ability to play defense. Through the first 2 games of the series, Dartmouth had earned a total of 12 hits on Texas and even out-hit them 7-6 in the first game. While the Longhorns were giving up a lot, they left a total of 18 Dartmouth runners on base to end innings. The chance to seal a victory at Augusta National was back in McElroy's reach. A missed putt by Rose forced him to par, and that gave Rory the chance to birdie. And what do you know? All of those mental challenges and emotions went right away as Rory sunk a 3-foot putt to don his first ever Masters victory. So many times he has come up short, but for the first time in over a decade, the former prodigy overcame all doubt and was back on top of the golf world again. Only 2 days left in February, and each game left in the college basketball season now means so much more. A 4-day player showcase at the NFL Combine begins tomorrow, and Quinn Ewers is back to full health. Get ready because we're talking all of this out on the one and only College Crossfire. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton appeared in court earlier this week in relation to security fraud charges. On Tuesday, Paxton reached a deal to dismiss the charges based on completion of certain requirements and a restitution payment of $271,000. The deal means the Attorney General will avoid the trial that was set to begin on April 15th. Paxton was first indicted in 2015, however. Different disputes allowed the case to avoid trial for 9 years. It is a game like today's that makes the sport of women's basketball so fun to watch. Head coach Vic Schaefer has only beaten the decorated Kim Mulkey once at the Elite Eight in 2017. But at Texas, he's a winless 0-3 against her. Fast forward a few years, and Mulkey is now with LSU, and the Longhorns are in the SEC. Forced to face each other once again, the two met this afternoon in a top 5 matchup with a chance to boast conference domination.
And, for us, a lot of respect and admiration for that team that we played to LSU and Coach Mulkey.
When we went to South Carolina and we've come to Texas, good ball games. We were in ball games, had opportunities to, possibly steal a victory.
Coming off their 9th straight win, Texas returned to the Moody Center to play LSU for their next challenge. As the two teams featured some of the sport's biggest stars like Flau'jae Johnson and Madison Booker, both fan bases turned the arena into a chaotic atmosphere.
It's deafening. Y'all been in that building. Have y'all heard it louder in the last 2 weekends? That building is lit.
The game started off back and forth with low scoring, but as Texas had trouble shooting early on, they found themselves down by 12 midway through the 3rd quarter.
I said, let's just stay after it, but you're good shooters. Toughen up a little bit and make a shot because, I thought we were getting some pretty good looks.
And sure enough, the Longhorns started getting their shots to fall. Madison Booker, Rory Harmon, and Brianna Preston became Texas's momentum-shifting playmakers.
For me personally, I just feel like I feed off of situations like this, and that's where I get my energy from.
When the game's on the line like that, I lean back on my teammates, and my coach, everybody, honestly, the fans, they just have your back, and I know when it's time to let it go and let it fly, I got to do it.
Texas went on to finish the game with a 21-9 run in the final quarter. What was another tough matchup in front of them became another gutsy win for the Longhorns. This
group just kind of refuses to let things faze them. As bad as we played for 3 quarters, they stayed in the fight. I think the game honors toughness, and I thought our kids were really, really tough today.
You have to execute and be extremely tough when it requires the toughness of you. So I think that was probably the difference in the game is just the toughness and the ability to execute when it got to be crunch time.
Texas has certainly gotten over the biggest hump in their schedule, as today's win was the 3rd over a top 10 opponent in 8 days. Now they get to rest for a week with the entire college basketball world put on notice. Reporting outside the Moody Center, Robert Gonsoulin, TSTV Sports. Bowling lanes, billiards, foosball, and now PCs. The latest age of recreation has reached UT's campus.
Both students as well as non-students, they come into the underground for the first time since the arena's open, and it's like, wow, the mothership is here.
In mid-October, the university opened up their new Alienware Longhorn Esports Arena, a new facility for video game lovers to share and exercise their passion.
For the last 8 years, I've been telling the university, this is something that we need to build, and we finally built it. So it's basically a dream come true.
Located in the Union's underground, the newly built arena has 30 desktops, multiple TVs, and a varsity room strictly for the Longhorn gaming teams to compete.
I'm very excited for the varsity space, which will allow our teams space to practice consistently, which had a whole bunch of huge benefits.
The new facility isn't reserved just for the Longhorn gaming teams to practice. In addition to bowling, playing pool, or air hockey, many students can casually come to the Union Underground in their free time to play a quick game or two. Even though the arena opened just this month, it's only a new chapter to an already extensive history of the Union Underground that has been around for over 60 years.
It's a kind of the retro with bowling, and then we've got the modern new with esports gaming.
In Austin, Robert Gonsoulin, reporting Texas TV. In their first matchup after being ranked number 1 in the AP poll last Sunday, Texas football was back in DKR again for a non-conference bout with ULM. Facing some injury problems, the Longhorns were without key players Quinn Ewers and Quintravion Wisner. But one player who was back on the field, however, was star running back Jaden Blue, and he stole the show. Leading up to Texas's final non-conference game Saturday night, it was still a mystery whether starting running back Jaden Blue would make his return from an ankle injury he suffered against Michigan 2 weeks before. However, on the first drive of the game, it was clear the Houston native was back after he took all the handoffs every time the ball was run. Midway through the first quarter, Texas put together their first scoring drive. Along with the help of a 56-yard pass from Arch Manning to Isaiah Bond, the Longhorns handed the ball off to Blue every play until he scored the game's first points by punching it in from the 1-yard line. Blue then continued to show his healthiness on the field by scoring 3 more touchdowns, 2 on the ground and 1 in the air. While the run game proved dominant for the Longhorns, other Texas players also made their mark, including Arch Manning and Leona Lafau, who finished with 6 tackles and a safety. Manning, who made his first career start at the collegiate level, connected with 11 different receivers and threw for over 250 yards. He talked about how having so many options to rely on can be helpful.
I think just having so many playmakers around you, it's definitely brings up the comfort level for me. We had a bunch of different receivers catch balls tonight, so just getting them in space and having them make plays is huge.
Tonight's score of 51-3 showcases just the third highest amount of points the Longhorns have scored in a game so far this season. But as non-conference play wraps up, a new era begins. Texas will be back in DKR next Saturday to play Mississippi State and begin SEC play, a time of the season where they'll face off against tougher opponents. That'll wrap things up here tonight in DKR, however. Reporting live for TSTV Sports, I'm Robert Gonsoulin.